Did you know that over 75% of product recalls in the healthcare industry are due to verification and validation issues? We're talking about life-saving devices, critical diagnostic tools, things that directly impact people's health. Hi, I'm Raghavendra, a senior verification lead. Today, I want to dive deep into the mistakes engineers make during the verification and validation process in healthcare. We'll discuss common pitfalls, why they occur, and actionable solutions to ensure your healthcare products meet the highest safety and quality standards. Let's get started. Imagine this. You're building a high-tech wheelchair. You're all excited, the team's pumped, you're sketching out designs, but then you realize nobody actually asked wheelchair users what they need. This is the danger of incomplete requirements. When we jump into design without fully understanding user needs, we end up with products that miss the mark. It's like building a GPS system that only navigates to pizza places. Sure, it works for some people, but it's not going to get you where you really need to go. We need to treat those user requirements like a sacred text. So, what's the solution? Advocate for detailed requirement gathering. Ask why. 5 times, get those user stories, and make sure everything is documented and traceable. Think of it like building a skyscraper. You wouldn't just start piling on bricks without a detailed blueprint. Clear, comprehensive requirements are the foundation for everything that follows. Picture this. You've designed a heart rate monitor. You've tested it on athletes, folks resting at home. Everyone's heartbeats look perfect. But then, you realize you haven't tested it on someone with an irregular heartbeat. This is what happens when we neglect edge cases. Those unusual, unexpected scenarios that can occur and have huge consequences. We often focus so much on the happy path that we forget to consider what happens when things go wrong. So, how do we avoid this? Scenario-based testing is your best friend. Get creative, think outside the box, and design tests that simulate real-world situations. And don't forget to involve diverse stakeholders in the process. Talk to doctors, nurses, patients, get their perspectives on potential challenges and edge cases. Over-reliance on automation. Don't forget the human touch. Now, I love automation. It's efficient, it's consistent. It's like having a robot army doing your bidding. But even the coolest robot can't replace good old-fashioned human intuition, especially when it comes to usability testing. Think about it. You can have a robot test the buttons on a medical device 1,000,000 times, but it can't tell you if the buttons are too small for someone with arthritis or if the display is hard to read in low light. The solution? A balanced approach. Automate the repetitive tasks, the button pushing, the data logging. But when it comes to usability, bring in real users. Observe how they interact with your product, get their feedback, and use that to make improvements. Remember, healthcare products aren't just about functionality, they're about people. Poor documentation. Don't skimp on the paperwork. Okay, I get it, documentation isn't the most glamorous part of engineering. But trust me, good documentation can make or break your product, especially when it comes to audits and compliance. Imagine this. You've poured your heart and soul into designing a life-saving medical device. It's innovative, it's effective, it's going to change lives. But then, during the audit, you can't find the documentation for a critical component. Suddenly, your groundbreaking device is at risk of being shelved because of a paperwork issue. So how do we avoid this? Implement robust documentation practices from day one. Use templates, establish clear guidelines, and make sure everyone on the team understands the importance of keeping documentation up to date and accurate. Think of it like this. Good documentation is like an insurance policy for your product. It might seem like an extra step, but it could save you from a major headache down the road. Failing to involve end users. Let's get real-world feedback. Imagine designing a surgical robot without actually consulting with surgeons, or developing a new diabetes monitoring app without getting feedback from people with diabetes. Failing to involve end users in the validation process is like trying to bake a cake without tasting the batter. End users are the ones who will be interacting with your product day in and day out. Their feedback is pure gold. So, how do we make sure we're getting that valuable input? Include end users in your testing and feedback loops from the very beginning. Conduct usability studies, get their feedback on prototypes, and observe how they use your product in their natural environment. Remember, we're not just building products, we're building solutions for real people with real needs. So there you have it. The top 5 mistakes engineers make during verification and validation in healthcare, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Understanding and avoiding these mistakes can save time, reduce costs, and most importantly, ensure patient safety. Now I want to hear from you. Have you encountered challenges in verification and validation? Share your experiences or questions in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into engineering and healthcare innovation.